What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about SoundHound. I want to go over some of the data points, what's moving it, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So SoundHound is down 7.19%, 796 the high, 743 the low. So it is in a absolute free fall right now. And plus, we're seeing very low volume. So big money's not really buying the SoundHound dip. Rather, there is a bigger rotation that's starting to occur. A couple of different attributing factors to this. One is just simply Google's earnings, as well as other big tech names, not really showing that much optimism from their earnings. Plus, today we did have a lot of big data, and it didn't come in line nearly what the market was expecting. And you can kind of tell that there is a lot of legitimate fear right now, because normally a lot of this negative data would inversely kind of prompt the market to expect rate cuts and maybe for us to move higher. But that in among itself isn't even helping. So challenger job cuts started the sell-off today, came in at 108, forecast of 43. So that really does signal behind the scenes that there is slowing truly occurring. Initial jobless claims came in at 231, forecast of 214, and then because of the whole government shutdown kind of concluding, for the most part, you do have now the JOLT numbers, which were supposed to have come out on Tuesday, but we had openings a lot lower than the 7 million forecast. So all in all of this data so far today has been negative. So this is kind of what's causing all the fear to snowball, as what I even mentioned a couple of videos back. There is a lot of fear in the market, and all of it combined is starting to really snowball out of control to the point where you're having these like sell-offs, absolute free falls. If the market was kind of dealing with maybe just one or two independent things, then yeah, it could fix itself and really move higher. But it all started with Powell. The market is always forward-looking and looking at what the next big catalyst is. So ultimately, with now the optimism for a cut for March kind of popped because of Powell, that just again really kickstarted everything. So this is a quick summary of what's really moving the market. SoundHound today, no news, no SEC filings, nothing like that. And this is one thing that I've kind of complained about with SoundHound, is that they are very safe. Initially, it was actually helping them a little bit. So during this time frame right here, kind of second, third week of January, when the broader market was starting to kind of push a little bit lower, SoundHound was doing a little bit better. And that's, again, in my opinion, because they were safe and they're not really expanding, not really spending too much money. But now, because of just merely the multiple, this is why we are seeing it go down. So with SoundHound not really profitable right now, you kind of have to look at the PS ratio. So right now, 21.47, which is, in all fairness, a little bit better than what it was. But still, SoundHound definitely is a little bit high. So I think the market's really targeting a lot of tech and AI stocks. So that's kind of what is really affecting SoundHound. Luckily enough, though, shorts haven't really taken advantage and doubled and tripled down. So shorts are increasing about 92,000 shares right now. 32.6% of the free floats being shorted, works to be 123 million shares overall being shorted. DTC, 4.94 days, does signal that shorts are relatively overextended. But it kind of, this is a little bit more misleading, only because DTC does factor in the average volume in comparison to number of shares being shorted. So SoundHound's volume has been dropping, and so this is why simply you are seeing this move higher. So it's kind of misleading a little bit, but still, nonetheless, 32.6% is rather high. So I don't anticipate them to really double down. The all-time high short interest is 34.94. That was pretty much in August. So again, just to keep that in mind. As far as the options go, 2.6 million in calls, 4.7 in puts. Already 73% of all the options being done are bearish in nature. From a bull standpoint, you see a consensus for it to be roughly around 8. Bears are anticipating for it to be sub 750. So definitely there's a little bit more downside than up. Currently on the secondary market, you have a couple institutions buying, but nothing really of any significance. Looking at this right here for today, so transactions occurring on the Darkpool, small handful, and that's largely linked to shorts as well as hedge funds. But hedge funds, there's no whole number, so it is fair to assume that hedge funds aren't really doing anything with SoundHound. Shorts are pretty much the only ones using the Darkpool. Aside from that, with it at 752, it is trading between this S1 and this S2. So 724 is going to be that key support. And this is something I've been really bringing up, even way back in the $11, $12 range. I said you need to watch 1050, followed by 950. If that fails to hold, then anticipate 818. And if that fails to hold, then 724. So the next real point to watch for is going to be that 724. Things are absolutely getting out of hand, but in my opinion, as fast as we are going down, we could easily move up. Just need a little bit of optimism. So moral of the story, just watch for that 724. But if you are on margin and using margin, this is something I've kind of warned. These last couple of days are absolutely a margin calls dream. Like, it's horrific. So for instance, even just generally since kind of around that 1050 or 1075, it has gone down 31.1%. So again, if you're very tight on margin, that would have easily stopped you out. So it's kind of crazy. So I feel like a lot of individuals are tapped out, don't really have sufficient amount of money. And so, yeah, it's kind of a rough scenario. But like I said at the very beginning, we're also kind of experiencing lower volume. So 7.9 million shares being traded. Looking at the market position, though, you still see, oddly enough, a little bit of willing buyers, but I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Definitely a lot more willing sellers. So only positive about SoundHound right now and the chart is that it is considered very oversold. So a good piece of news, then you could see a nice little bit of a recovery, but again, it needs that good news. If you buy this, it is very speculative, right? It's kind of a falling knife type of scenario. So I think if you are a long-term investor, then yeah, average down, dollar cost average, do what needs to be done. If you're trying to catch the bottom, then this is where just refer back to those fib levels, because on this chart, it is below all the key points. So the 10, 50, 100, and 200, there hasn't been all that much in analyst ratings. And similarly, no real articles talking about SoundHound. Again, because they are considered relatively safe. They're not fun, exciting, and all that. So articles won't really be talking about it as much as other stocks, for instance. But yeah, today definitely is a brutal day. Even like I mentioned at the very beginning, Google is definitely getting rocked, down 4.3% at the low. It was down, give or take, right over here, about 7.7%. So absolute insanity in the broader market. Let me know your thoughts on just SoundHound. Are you buying? Are you selling? One final thing, pop over to my Patreon if you are looking for some solid buy signals. Despite everything that's actually happened, I've had a lot of good swing trades, hit the targets, so definitely worthwhile to pop over there and check that out. Link in the description below and also the comments. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.